Hello students, this is Shahid sir. Today we are going to discuss evidence in evolution. So today's topic is evidence in evolution. Also we can say this tracing evolutionary relationship. So from which evidence we can say organisms are relative to each other, which organisms are related to each other. Now, some evidence suggests that the present day diverse form of living organism have evolved from common ancestors. So, we got some evidence. From that evidence, nowadays we can say this, that organism may belongs to a same ancestor. So, which are that evidence? In today's session we will discuss about this. So, from which evidence we are saying that organisms may belong to a same ancestor. So evidence of evolution have following categories. So here we are giving some categories to understand this better. So these categories are namely, first, morphological and anatomical evidence. Second, that is paleontological evidence. So paleontological evidence is the evidence from fossils. And third category is embryological evidence. So we'll discuss all these three categories one by one. So our first category is morphological and anatomical evidence. So morphology and anatomy means what? External, internal characteristics. Here, based on that internal, external characteristics, we will classify the organism and we'll see the relationship between different organisms. So these are the evidences which are based on the similarities in the external and internal features of various organisms. So based on that internal as well as external features of different organisms, we assume that if they are having same features, if they are having same external as well as internal features, so we can say that that ancestor may be same, or we can say they belongs to the same ancestor. So morphological character, we can say external characters. Anatomical characters, we can say internal characters. So from that internal and external characters, we can get idea that organisms belongs to same ancestor or not. So this includes homologous organs, analogous organs and vestigial organs. So we'll discuss this. What is homologous organs, what is analogous organ, and what is vestigial organ. First one, homologous organ, that is homo. Homo here the meaning is same, similar. So here what happened? Organs which perform different function but same basic structure. So here we are talking about the organs which have the similar structure but they perform the different function. Now these are some of the examples. Here you can see some of the examples of limbs of frog, lizard, birds and human. If you see it, you can clearly see that all this are having the similar, mostly the similar feature, mostly the similar structure. So anatomical structure, or we can say the structure is same, but all of them are using their limbs for different function. So this evidence, from this evidence we can assume that as they are having the similar feature, they may belong to a same ancestor. So for example, forelimbs of frog, lizard, a bird and human have similar basic structure of bones, but they perform different functions in different organisms. So here, this is what we are talking about. The limbs of the forelimbs of the frog, lizard, human, birds. If you see it, you can clearly see that all are having mostly similar feature, mostly similar structure. So basic structure is similar, but all are using that limbs for different function. Suppose birds are having this limbs and birds are using this limbs for the flying. Suppose frog is having, humans are using the limbs for walking or to take anything. So these are the features. From that we can say that they are having the similar features, organs are same, structurally they are same, but they are performing the different functions. So this type of organs are said to be the homologous organ. So from that evidence we can easily say that if they are having the similar structure, so maybe their ancestors are same. Now Based on that, different adaptation is there. So different organism evolved, there are different adaptation in that organism, and because of that they evolve in different types of organisms. So from this evidence we can easily suggest that we can assume that they may belong to a same ancestor. Why we can say this? Because they all are having the similar anatomical structure. Because of this we can say this, they may belong to a same ancestor. So this indicates that all these four limbs have evolved from a common ancestor animal which had a same basic internal structure. Now second, that is analogous organ. Now analogous is opposite to the homologous organ. Here what happened? Structure is different but they perform a similar function. So organs which have different basic structure and origin but have similar appearance and perform similar function, that type of organs are said to be the analogous organs. So here we can say these organs are there. Here you can, if you see the structure, anatomical structure, the structure is different but function they all perform a same function, like wings of bird, wings of bat and wings of butterfly. All the function of all the wings are in the flying only. So as they are having this similar structure but still they are performing a same function. So this type of organs are called analogous organ. So these are some of the example: wings of insects, birds, and have the different structure but they perform the similar function. So this indicates that they are not evolved from the common ancestor but they perform similar function to survive. So as we can see the structure, they are having the different structure. So as they are having the different structure, we can assume that they may not evolve from a similar ancestor because their structure is different. So their ancestor may be different, but then they adapt to the environmental condition and function. They have changed their function, organs change their function and they use that organ for flying. So based on this we can say this all are structurally different organ, structurally different. That's why we can say they may not belongs to a same ancestor. So that is about the analogous organ. Now the third one is vestigial organ. Vestigial organs are also called non-functional organs. So there are some non-functional organ present in our body also, in different animals also, which are there but there is no use of that organ. That's why it is said to be the non-functional organ. Suppose if that organs are present or not, it will not affect your life. One example is appendix in a human. If it is present or absent, it is okay for our body because there is no effect of that. It is a vestigial organ, that is non-functional organ. So that type of all the non-functional organs are called the vestigial organ. Now that evidence suggests that whatever we are having right now, the vestigial organ, that vestigial organs may present in our ancestor and these vestigial organs are functional in our ancestor, but after evolution there is no use of this type of vestigial organ. So from that also we can suggest that in our ancestor they may have some function of this vestigial organ. So these are the remains of organ which were functional in the past and have become non-functional and useless due to certain factors. So these are said to be the vestigial organ. Now vestigial organs, some of the examples of vestigial organs in human are appendix, then nictitating membrane, body hair, ear muscle, Coccyx bone and wisdom tooth. So these are some of the example of vestigial organs of human. Still we are having this vestigial organ. This is nictitating membrane. This is Coccyx bone. It is also said to be the tailbone. That is appendix. Still we are having this type of organ, but there is no use of this type of organ right now in our body. If they are present or not, it will not affect our body. It will not affect our life. So this type of organs are called the vestigial organ. From that we can assume that our ancestor may have functional organ in our ancestor. These organs are functional but after evolution there is no use of that vestigial organs. So there are some of the evidence. From that evidence we can clearly see the relationship between different organisms, and we can assume that which organisms are having the same ancestor. Thank you.